Ruth chapter 3, verse 1. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said to her, that's to Ruth, all right? My daughter, shall I not seek rest for you, that it may be well with you? And now is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose maidens you were with? Behold, he winnoweth barley, that means he's threshing barley, tonight in the threshing floor. Wash yourself therefore, anoint yourself, put your raiment upon you, and get you down to the floor. But make not yourself known unto the man until he shall have done eating and drinking. And it shall be when he lies down, that you shall mark the place where he shall lie, and you shall go in, uncover his feet, and lay you down, and he will tell you what you shall do. And Ruth said to Naomi, all that you say to me, unto me, I will do. All right? So here we go. Continuation with the story. All right. So Naomi is a person who is very worldly. She saw all that food which Ruth brought back to her from last week. Remember I told you the story? So Naomi saw all of this and says, yes, I know Boaz. Boaz is actually related to us. And I know exactly where Boaz will be tonight. He is down by the threshing floor. He's a very rich man, all right? So he has many reapers, he has people working for him. So it's very normal for the owner of the estate to go down to the threshing place, the threshing floor, because they have houses, all right? And then they have another place, the threshing place, where they go down there, they sleep there. Why? Because it's harvest time. So all his workers will be there, and he will be there. They will have a great time eating and celebrating the harvest. So Naomi thought of an idea, very worldly idea. All right? So let's go back and see what Naomi talked about. Verse 3. Verse 3 again. So Naomi said to Ruth, look at this. Doesn't this sound like a dating plan? You know, like how to get your man? Wash yourself first, all right? First thing is you take a long bath. Bathe yourself, make yourself clean. Wash yourself first, and then you anoint. This anoint means that you perfume yourself, all right? So after you have taken a bath, you anoint yourself with perfume. You soak yourself. Put all types of oil on you. So you look good, you smell good, and then what's the last one? Put your raiment upon you. Dress up fine. Okay, once again. Clean up, perfume up, dress up, doll yourself up, so you look real good. And you go to see Boaz. You see, Naomi was thinking exactly how the world thinks. If you do this, then there is a chance that he will love you, and then, hey, we're set for life. We will get food. We will get all of these blessings. But remember what I told you last week. Boaz already knew Ruth. You don't have to do all these things. These are what we say, if you perform, then God will love you. If you doll yourself up, then the man will fall in love with you. But the man already is in love with you. You do not have to do all of this. But Naomi, of course, didn't know this. Naomi told Ruth, and of course, you see, it says, don't make yourself known to the man first, all right? Even though you're all pretty now, even though you smell nice, you look good, all right? But don't just approach the man until he shall have done eating and drinking first, all right? So, people say, what, love to a man, how do you say this? The way to a man's heart is through his stomach, yeah, through exercise. Is through eating and drinking, all right? So the man will eat first, he feels good. He drinks and then he says, wow, and now only after that you approach the man. So you see, Naomi is full of advice. Naomi is instructing Ruth on how to get a man, not knowing that the man is already in love with Ruth. All right? So let's move on. Next verse again. And it shall be when he lies down, all right, now the man, Boaz, is full, he has drunk all he can, that you shall mark the place where he shall lie, because there are many people there, like I told you. There are all the people come together to celebrate. So there'll be many men sleeping around there. So you mark the place. Okay, observe, where is Boaz? So mark the place with your eyes. Look, okay, Boaz is over there. So make sure you don't go to the wrong man. Mark the place where he shall lie, and you shall go in. Okay? Wait until they're all comfortable, then you go in, and then you make yourself known. And here is something which, of course, we are not familiar with. You uncover his feet and lay yourself down, and then he, Boaz, will tell you what you shall do. All right? So, very simple. When you go, that's Naomi telling Ruth, when you go there and you lie at his feet, you uncover his feet and you lie down, now see what he will do. Now, he can reject you, or he will not. So what do you think? So, of course, Ruth, okay, next verse. And she said to her, all that you say to me, I will do. Here comes again that verse. Remember, Ruth said this once before, where you go, I will go, whatever you do, your God will be my God. And many people say, well, Ruth, that's a great person to emulate. I want to be like Ruth. But it's not that, as I told you. You see, Ruth was poor. Ruth was a widow. Ruth was childless. Ruth was from Moab. She was cursed. So she didn't really have too much of a choice. And furthermore, here Naomi is telling her what to do. So when Ruth answers like this, Naomi, whatever you tell me I will do, it's not because Ruth was such a great person that she can do all of this. You see, she's actually listening to the wrong advice. But Ruth was going to find out exactly what this meant. All right? So now let's continue on with the story. Next verse. So now Ruth went down into the floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her. All right? So once again, she's all bathed up, clean, perfumed, scented, hair done nicely, nails polished, and all dressed up in her best gown. She went down to the threshing floor. Of course, she stood back a while first, observed what was going on, and then as the man ate and drank, then she saw where Boaz was going to lie down, and she marked all of that. And now it was her time to go in. All right? So she went down. Now she went down to the floor. So she saw it from a distance, did everything which her mother-in-law told her, and now she went down to the threshing floor. All right? Next verse, please. When Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, all right? Hey, what a great harvest we had. And I've eaten, I've drank. Man, it's a great life. He went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn, all right? So he went down to his place, and here comes Ruth. She came softly, uncovered his feet, and laid herself down at the feet of Boaz. Now, what did I tell you last time? Boaz is representative or symbolic of Jesus. Look at this. Ruth is symbolic of us. We deserve nothing. We deserve nothing. We were cursed because we were from the cursed line of Adam. We didn't have much at all. All our works were like filthy rags, as one of the songs that we sang just now. What riches do you have compared to the riches of Christ? Nothing. So we come down to the feet of Jesus, uncovered his feet, and laid herself down. You see, everything here in the story parallels who we are and how we come to Jesus. And now, next verse, please. And it came to pass at midnight. All right, now remember, this was already late in the night. That's when Ruth went down. That the man was afraid. Boaz turned himself, and behold, a woman was at his feet. All right, so now we are back to Boaz and Ruth. So Boaz woke up, somebody has uncovered his feet, and he saw Ruth. Next verse. Now here comes the part. He can reject her, because remember, he's Boaz. He is the grand, rich person. And he said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thy handmaid, for you are a near kinsman." All right? Now we need some explanation here, because if we do not have the explanation, we do not know what is happening. All right? Now, let me just give you one verse first. Isaiah 28:20 first. Isaiah 28:20. Before we go into this near kinsman. Isaiah 28:20. For the bed is shorter than a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than that he can wrap himself in it. Now here is a very strange verse, and many people sometimes do not really understand what this verse is all about. All right? So this verse came after certain verses on the law. All right? The people at that time, they love to do the law. They love to do the law. One or two verses before here, it says the law, it was a ministry of death. It brings you death if you do it. But the people love it. The people love it. So they would do it line by line, all right? Because the law is line by line. So line by line, precept by precept, they will do it. They will try to follow it. And then God says, as you do it line by line, I will judge you back line by line. So if you say, I'm going to do line number 40, then I will judge you back by line number 40. And he says, my judgment is like a plummet line. It's very straight. There is no deviation. The plummet line was used by the old-time construction people, all right? Look, this is how I measure a line. Look, I put it down, and if it falls like this, that is the line. And then comes this verse. You see, what does this verse mean? The bed is shorter. Now, for all those of you here who are very tall, you know what this means. The bed is shorter. So if you lie on the bed, what happens to your legs? They are hanging out at the end of the bed, right? So your legs are now exposed. Of course, if you tuck in your legs, then your head will fall off on the other side. So somewhere or other, something is wrong. So if you do works, it's called that's why we have this expression, the bed of works. All right? It's a bed of works. So if you lie on your bed of works and you think it will fit, it doesn't. Because some part of you will be exposed. So if you think you are so good, what he's saying here, Isaiah is saying that some part of you will be exposed. And then the next one is the covering. If you cover yourself with your works and you think it is enough cover, you will find out that it is what? Narrower. So if your covers are narrow, you think about a blanket, but it's a small blanket. So you cover on the right-hand side, what happens on your left-hand side? Well, the blanket just shifted on the other side. So if you pull the blanket this way, then what happens? Then the other side of your body is exposed. If you cover the top, the bottom is exposed. You cover the bottom, the top is exposed. You cover left, right is exposed. You cover right, left is exposed. So you can never be good enough. You can never cover yourself because you need someone else's cover. Someone who can cover you completely. Someone who is called Jesus, who will cover you completely and perfectly. When you are dressed in Jesus, you are completely and perfectly covered. There will be no exposure. You cannot say, oh, look, my arm is out there, so I have to chop off my arm. My leg has gone astray, so chop off my leg. No, because when God covers you, every part of you is covered. There is no shorter or narrower. Are you with me so far? All right. So that is why when Ruth came at Boaz's feet, there is a covering for her. All right? Now let's jump back to Ruth again. All right? I am Ruth, your handmaid. Spread therefore your skirt over your handmaid. Spread your garment over me. What did we just read? When you are covered by Jesus, you are covered completely. And that's what Ruth says. Spread your skirt over me. You, Boaz, cover me. For you are a near kinsman. All right, next verse. And he says, Blessed be you of the Lord, my daughter, for you have shown me more kindness in the latter end than at the beginning, inasmuch as you follow us not after young men, whether poor or rich. All right, so now Boaz is talking to Ruth, and Boaz already knew Ruth. All right, remember when she came, because it was in the dark, he didn't knew who he was yet, and now he is showing that he already knew her. He says, look, your kindness at the latter end was more than at the beginning. You did not follow after young men. You see, you didn't go after other people. You came after me. But I knew you first. Jesus always knows you first. And then you come back to him. It is the goodness of God that leads us to repentance. God is always good to you first. And when you realize how good He is to you, then you respond. You respond to His love. You respond to His kindness. You respond to His provision. But He always gives you first, because that's what grace does. Grace gives you first, not because you are good, but because He is good. Because if it is not based on grace, then Jesus will say, you have to be good first, and then I will give to you. You be good first. You behave yourself. You do that first. You clean up yourself first, and then I will be your God. And then I will save you. Does it say that in the Bible? Never. Grace always says, I am good. I am forgiving. I am riches. So with all of who I am, I give to you. I provide for you. I love you first. I died for you while you were yet a sinner. I do that for you first. And then when you finally see how good God is to you, then you respond and you say, thank you, Jesus. I come to you now. I love you, God, because you first loved me. I give because you gave to me. I forgive because you forgave me first. See, everything we do is a response of what He did for us first. All right. Next verse, please. And now, my daughter, do not fear, fear not. I will do to you all that you require, for all the city of my people doth know that you are a virtuous woman. All right? Now, here we'll need some more explanation. I will do to you all that you require. All right? Very mystical phrase here. What do you mean, do to her? All right? So let's go back to the law. Deuteronomy chapter 25, verse 5 to 10. Deuteronomy 25, verse 5 to 10. All right? So now let me explain to you what Boaz is referring to. All right? If brothers dwell together, that means families living together, and one of them die, one of the brothers die, and have no child, the wife of the dead, who is the wife? The wife is the widow, right? So think about it. They are brothers, one of the brothers die, leaving a widow. The wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Without means outside. So in other words, he's saying here, under the law, the widow, you don't have to go outside into the community, go and try to find somebody to support you and get married again. Because you don't have any resources, you don't have anything. So there is provision, even under the law. Do not go out and marry somebody outside. Her husband's brother, that means that one of the brothers died, there is another brother in the family, the husband's brother shall go in unto her, marry her, and take her to him to be the wife. That's the law. The brother or the close relative will marry the widow and perform the duty of the husband's brother unto her. Be a husband to that widow. You don't have to go outside the family. All right, next verse. And it shall be that the firstborn which she bears shall succeed in the name of his brother, which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. So even the child will have a name. Next verse. And if the man, okay, but there's another provision here. And if the man like not to take his brother's wife, so if the brother says, well, I do not want to marry this widow. Then let his brother's wife, that's the widow, go up to the gate unto the elders. All right? The brother died, left a widow. The next brother supposed to marry the widow. All right? And provide for her, give her the name, everything. But this brother can say no. So if this brother says no, then the widow is to go to the gate. The gate in the Bible. Gates. Anytime you hear the word gates, gates are a place of judgment. That's the place where decisions are made. Judgment is given. All right? That's gates. We have never talked about this, but that's gates. That's why you find that Jesus is not the gate. Jesus is the door. The door is open. The gates are closed. Gates are a place where you are judged. And when you are judged, you are always found to be wrong in the law. All right? But the door is open. We'll deal with that another time. So anyway, she will go to the gate because that's where the judgment will happen. Onto the elders and say, my husband's brother, well, this brother, he refused to raise up his brother a name in Israel. He will not perform the duty of my husband's brother. Basically, hey, that guy doesn't want to marry me. Okay? Next verse. Then the elders of his city shall call him. Okay, now judgment is going to be pronounced. And speak unto him. This is the brother who refused to marry. And if he stands to it and say, I like not to take her. I don't want to marry her. That's the brother saying. Next one. Then shall his brother's wife come unto him in the presence of the elders. Here comes the ceremony. Okay? So, the widow comes to the brother, and she will loose his shoe from off his foot. Will take off that brother's shoe and spit in his face. You don't want me? I spit on you. And I take your shoe. One of your shoes. Look, this is the ceremony. And it has to be done according to the law. Loose his shoe, and shall answer and say, so shall it be done unto the man that will not burl up his brother's shoe. See, this is what's going to happen. I spit on you, and I take your shoe. Okay. Next verse. And his name shall be called in Israel the house of him that has his shoe loose. All right? So now that brother who doesn't want to marry that widow has got a name. Spit face and shoe loose. That's what it says. Well, Mr. Spitface, well, he walked by my house today. Yeah, and Mr. Shoe Loose. So, what does this mean? You see, when you take his shoe, in other words, the widow now has the shoe. And somebody else can take this shoe from the widow. You see, somebody better. Whoa, you don't want me? There's always that person better, the best. And his name is Jesus. He will take the shoe. He will take that shoe. You don't have to go out there and suffer. You don't have to go out there and be humiliated. You see, people say, oh no, that brother doesn't want me. Why are you looking at that brother? You got somebody who absolutely loves you. He will accept that shoe. His name is Jesus. All right, now are you familiar with the ceremony? Okay, now let's jump back again to Ruth. Verse 11. And now, my daughter, do not fear. Why? Once again, how many widows are there in this story right now? There's Ruth, and there is, don't forget there is another widow here. Her name is Naomi. Orpah, remember Orpah meant neck. She turned her neck and she went back to her gods. But there are two widows here. So what did the ceremony, what did I say? It is for the widow, right? So why not Naomi? Because Boaz is actually closer in age to Naomi than Ruth. So why not Naomi? Naomi is also a widow. Naomi can marry Boaz. Nobody seems to realize this because everybody is talking about Ruth. But Naomi is a widow. And she's childless too. Let's look at Naomi and Ruth, all right? Naomi, widow. Ruth, widow. Naomi, childless. Ruth, childless. Naomi, poor. Ruth, poor. But Naomi was a Jew. So under the law, Naomi qualified. Under that law. Ruth, Moabitess, curse, not Jewish, unqualified. Under the law, Ruth didn't qualify. So by all accounts, the Bible should stop the story of Ruth and focus on Naomi. Because under the law, Naomi is the one who qualifies as the widow, the brother or the close relative should marry Naomi. Take care of Naomi. But you see, under the law, Naomi qualified. But under grace, only Ruth qualified because she was unqualified. The one who was cursed, the one who was rejected, the one who don't deserve it, because grace is undeserved favor. Because Naomi deserved it, she was disqualified. But under law, Naomi would be the qualified one. Do you see the implication here for Boaz to accept Ruth? Grace, grace, grace all the way. Otherwise, Boaz will marry Naomi. Because Naomi was the qualified one. But Ruth was the unqualified one. The one who don't deserve it, got it. All right? And now, let's continue on. Now it is true that I'm thy near kinsman, but there is a kinsman nearer than I. Here comes a revelation. Remember I told you? The brother or the relative can marry the widow. And now here comes a revelation. There is one other relative who is closer than I am, Boaz says. So that person has the right to take you, Ruth. That person can take you. That closer relative has a right to you before me. He is before me. So Ruth must have got a mini heart attack. There's another person whom I know nothing about. I thought Boaz was the one. And he showed me grace. He knew who I was, and he loved me. But there is another person. Another person. And we will continue next week.